What is up, YouTube, and welcome back. So today I want to talk to you guys about being a security officer within the federal government as a government contractor. I've done a video in the past relating on how to make $40 an hour for the federal government and kind of going into detail on what are the different things. Today I want to talk specifically within the security aspect. So you guys can see I've served in the military for 8 years. I've been doing government contracting for several more years after that. And that's really where I got hired from there. So the biggest thing I want to talk to you guys, if you're interested in being a security guard and still get paid at the premium aspect of things, make more than a lot of other people, make it equivalent to what a police officer makes, this is very much the top of the top, which is essentially being a PSO. What is a PSO? A PSO is a protective service officer. Essentially, your job is to guard billions of dollars worth of government facility, government gear, really anything that has to do with the federal government. You're contracted out to be the security guard for it. You have a weapon on your belt at all time. You're gonna have a pepper spray in some cases, depending on what the contract is. You're gonna have tasers. You're gonna have a bunch of different things. You're gonna have body armor and all those things. So if you already are working within security, whether it is for Allied or any other third-party company making $20 an hour, and you essentially want to make $40 an hour, the PSO is really the very top of the chain when it comes down to security guards. Now, the biggest question is going to come back from the previous video as well, which is how to make $40 an hour as a contracting agent ultimately, is really you have to have some sort of background experience when it comes down to police officer, military, or security, whether it is, depending on which aspect of the agency you're going to work for and which area in. Now, I'm in the West Coast, so a lot of it, we're very much on the staff. So becoming a PSO right now is not as difficult as before. When I first came in, it was very difficult, it was very competitive, and people that were part of my class to become one have been waiting or been on the waiting list for over 3 years. So that's essentially the issue, is this contract, like any civilian contract for the government, it has its wave, it has its ups and downs. And with Elon Musk and Vivid coming in and privatizing a majority of the sector, you're gonna have a humongous amount of people applying for those federal jobs, specifically the security aspect of things, because it's such a simple job and simple task that anybody can really do it, essentially. As long as you have a heartbeat, can pass the background check, and have some sort of security experience. So that's the biggest thing. As long as you pass the background check and are able to wait 3, 6, a year before you fully start full-time, is where the real problem is. The biggest problem with become a PSO is patience. In order for you to be, like, it took me about 6 months to even come into contract, even though I have my military background from the military in the past and everything else was good. It took me a while for me to go into the actual becoming a PSO, because they do a full FBI background check, they do everything. And depending what type of clearance you have, it might be more complex. So those are things to consider. If you really want to make $40 an hour as a security officer, apply to become a PSO. There's, different company depending on which part of the state you are. There's different contracts for things like that. And essentially here in Arizona and also California's got a ridiculous amount of money they get paid. But here in Arizona, it's about $38 an hour. California, I think, is up to $45, in some cases $50 an hour. So there's quite a bit of money you can make within the security aspect of things. Now, for those of you that are on the streets and have no security experience at all, and you assume that you can just go in and walk into this contract, it's not going to happen. I would say start as an unarmed officer, do unarmed guard for a little bit. Unless you have military background or police officer background, it's very little, minimal to no chance. So start with unarmed security, go from unarmed security, go to armed security, whether it's to Allied or any other third party, and then within 2 or 3 years, then apply to become a protective security service officer. Because otherwise, you're just gonna be automatically denied. But let's say you have the police background, you have the military background, and or you have the security background where there's 2+ years. Then at that point, apply. I'm not gonna tell you which company to apply for, because there's a couple dozen there. And at the end of the day, I'm not trying to promote it. But if it's something that you're interested in and you just want to make $40 an hour, apply. As long as you can pass the background check through DHS and possibly the FBI want to, then you're good. You're going to be in. The biggest thing for the background check that a lot of people get kicked back for is domestic violence. Domestic violence, theft, or fraud. Those are the biggest misdemeanor that a lot of these guys get kicked back for. You might, done something stupid like shoplifted back when you were in high school, it's going to come up, you're going to be disqualified in a lot of cases. So that's the biggest thing. If you're going to work for the federal government, you cannot have any sort of fraud, you cannot have any sort of theft. Domestic violence, essentially, depending on which state you're at, prevents you from having a weapon in some cases. So the government is not even going to bother hiring you. So that's the biggest things here. If your background is fully clear and you have all those things and you just simply want to do something that's a little bit, outside of the box and you're just tired of your office job, consider becoming a PSO, work for the federal government, have a weapon on your hip at all time, body armor, and guard building for 12-hour days basically. So that's another big thing. But alright guys, if this video helped you and you guys want to know more about this specific agency and how does it work, how my daily job is, and everything else, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Go down in the comment section, let me know, ask me questions, and I'll make sure to answer that in the next future actual video. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.